Welcome to Dave C. Straight from the Pit. Dave C. here. I thought for today's show we could do kind of a snow special, considering it's the middle of January and we've got snow like we always do up here in Canada. But yeah, I thought we could do the 1983 Polar Battle Bear ski mobile snow job and the 1985 Snowcat and Frostbite. Back inside now, and I just found out that Codename Steve on Instagram, he bought 3D Joe's poster package from Carson, but he didn't realize that Carson was sold out of the 1984-85 vehicle poster. So if any of you guys have an extra one of these, Codename Steve on Instagram is interested. I couldn't offer him mine because I only have one, and here it is here, and I have it on display. And I know so many guys now are getting these posters for their Joe rooms. So, yeah. Hopefully he can find one. So, Snow Job came out in 1983. And it's just a terrific figure. Here's his card back. Hector Grillo art, of course. It's got the 1982 to 1985 G.I. Joe lettering on the top there. And it says, "A Real American Hero" underneath it. It says, "Arctic Trooper, codename Snow Job." So here's the card, flipped around. It says, "Collect G.I. Joe vehicles and weapons." And it has all the 1982, 1983, and 84 guys on the back. So this card back and card really is a 1984 card, and sometimes that would happen, of course, if a figure was sold the year later, still on the pegs. So yeah, he has 84 guys on it as well. And there's the American flag points that haven't been cut out yet, that some people would cut out for their Hooded Cobra Commander or Major Blood mail away. And his card reads as follows: Arctic Trooper, codename Snow Job, file name Harrion W. Moore, primary military specialty Arctic Ski Patrol, secondary military specialty rifle instructor, birthplace Ruthven, Vermont, grade E6 sergeant. Snow Job was a major Olympic biathlon contender. He enlisted initially for the special training and support privileges that the Army gives to Olympic champions. However, to the consternation of Army PR flaks, Snow Job volunteered and was accepted into the G.I. Joe team. Qualified expert, all NATO long-range sniper rifles, XM-LR-3A laser rifle. Submitted by Rock and Roll. You think we call him Snow Job because he does this job on skis? Negative. He's a con artist, pure and simple. Except when he picks up his rifle. Sure as heck, something's gonna fall down. So this is that laser rifle that is on the back of his file card. And it's quite a common G.I. Joe gun. It was on the cartoon later, and so many Joes had it on the cartoon. And I've got it on his back there, his backpack. But yeah, here's some photos here of G.I. Joe guys from the cartoon using this laser rifle. And yeah, it was always on the cartoon. I mean, aside from sometimes having their own gun, But of course the cartoon was more kid-friendly, so they kind of sided with the kind of futuristic sci-fi weaponry instead of real-life machine guns and rifles and that. He came with 2 ski poles, 2 skis, a backpack, and the laser rifle. And he's a bright white color. He's got some brown on the top there. And the black. And he has a red beard, which is very distinctive of Snow Job. And all in all, I think everybody just loves this figure. And he is totally a classic G.I. Joe character. And he first appeared on the somewhat animated series in 1983's Mass Device, which was a 5-parter. And here's where he first appears.
We got the coordinates cold, pretty lady. And I'm talking cold. How do you read it?
Dr. Vandermeer was right, Snow Job. The crystal mine is ahead of us, at the edge of the forest.
And then for the Marvel run, he first appears in a May issue, which was a 1983 issue, number 11. And there he is on the cover, him and Doc in the polar battle bear. And when you open that issue up, he's right there on the first page. And there he is there. And a couple other notable books that he's in. G.I. Joe Special Missions, number 20. And he's on the cover there. Flying over the Cobra Wolf with them looking on in surprise. But he was an Olympic skier, so he could just do tricks out there on snowy mountains. And for sure had the Cobras on the run several times on the issue and in the comic. And I think that's great artwork there. Just a tremendous issue. And then later on, in number 278 on IDW, he's on the cover again. And it's just an excellent piece of art. It's an Untold Tales about good old Snow Job. And he's driving the Polar Battle Bear in this box art here. And yeah, here is the box for the ski mobile. Flipped around, it says Ski Mobile Polar Battle Bear, G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, with twin laser blasters. You move side to side. Modern Army action weapon. Movable skis with 2 removable Rampage rockets. Realistic engine detail. Simulated treads with movable wheels. Laser blasters you move side to side. Skis turn. Actual size when assembled. Snap together assembly. Carries 3 G.I. Joe soldiers. Engine cover removes to show realistic engine detail. Sturdy construction for rugged play. Tow hook. Free rolling. Super realistic detail. And yeah, like I always talk about on this channel, this stuff was more like a model when it first came out than anything else. And I really enjoyed that part of that. And here you can see some instructions how to put the ski mobile together. And yeah, it kind of shows how they were more like models. And there's the decal or decal, sticker sheet, where all the logos would go for the Polar Battle Bear. And then on the other side, I believe we'll have the schematics. And I'm not going to read all that off, but some of it was mentioned on the box. And yeah, this stuff just made the toy that much more real and larger than life when you're, 9, 10, 11 years old. I remember my cousin Jonathan had one before I did, and I remember borrowing his and playing with it in the snow. And he didn't have snow job, and I did, so he would bring it over to use my snow job, and we'd play with it. I remember one time there was a massive snowstorm, and we had all these snow banks outside, and we would send snow job down like a ski slope on the skis, and try to put the ski mobile down, but I remember it would get stuck in there. It was too heavy and stuff. But yeah, just a tremendous vehicle that so many Joe fans have now. And here's a side note here. For Christmas, I also got one of these 1983 figure holders that would go on your belt. And I remember I had that back then in 83, and I'd put 3 figures in there, had enough spots for 3 figures, and you open this up here, this tab, and you can put the figures in. And it would go on your belt buckle. You can see here. And there it is there, 1983, Hasbro, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, of course. Yeah, but anyway, that's a neat thing to have now, again. And we had to wait a bit for another snow figure and snow vehicle to come out. And not until 1985 did we get the G.I. Joe Snowcat. And here is one here. And it has G.I. Joe lettering, the 82 to 85 lettering on the top. A real American hero, a Snowcat, carries up to 10 figures. And this one was from Walmart back then, $8.78 in 1985. And there's Frostbite, who came with the Snowcat, of course. Includes G.I. Joe driver Frostbite with swivel arm battle grip. Ages 5 and up. And there's Snow Job there on the back, holding on with Alpine. And Snake Eyes is with Frostbite, the driver. And I've displayed over here those 2 guys, along with Frostbite. I thought I'd bring them out because I remember this box art as a kid, and very vividly. I remember getting this one and playing with it in the snow. Snowcat first appears on the Sumo animated series in 1985's 5-parter, after school special. And yeah, in that 5-parter, the Snowcat is featured. And I remember watching that coming home from school. And I just had to have a Snowcat. And like I said earlier about the ski mobile and snow job, living up here in Canada, it was kind of a staple in everyone's collections. And I remember getting the Snowcat. I really enjoyed watching the Snowcat on the cartoon. And there's a better look at it. This one's nice and white. I have another one that's a little bit yellowed. As they get older, they go a little bit yellow. And you have to use peroxide if you want to bring the whiteness back out. But even that one's not too bad. I've seen some that are really, really discolored. at toy shows and stuff, or nerd conventions, as me and Shane recall them. But yeah, this one's super white, and I like that. The decals look pretty good. And as a kid, I always remembered the windshield wiper on there. You could move. It's just really cool. And one of my friends, Eric Lutz, who I've talked about a couple times on this channel, he mentioned before that every toy show he goes to, or antique mall, or any of those flea markets or places like that, there's always tons of snowcats. And I tend to agree with them, because a lot of times you'll go to these shows, and it seems like almost every booth will have one, even if they're killed or discolored, they still have one. So I'm guessing that Hasbro sold a ton of these in the 1980s. And here's the back of the box. It says Snowcat, G.I. Joe, American Hero. This half-track mobilization unit plows through blizzards and towering glaciers to trail Cobra into the snowiest regions of the world. It's part of the new modern Army G.I. Joe collection of vehicles, weapons, figures, and accessories, used to help G.I. Joe defend democracy and battle his evil enemies. Snow-covered canopy. Movable windshield wiper. And there, of course, is Frostbite in his prototype form. He looks a little bit different than the actual figure that you got. This one here, you can't see his white teeth. And I'll show you his white teeth in a second when I show you the actual figure. And there's his file card. Flag points for your hooded Cobra Commander or Major Blood mail away. It says sturdy construction for rugged play. Missile rack with 4 movable missiles. Movable heat-seeking ski-mounted torpedoes. Actual size shown. Super realistic detail. And there's a photograph on the bottom of all the guys you can have on it. So if you wanted to, you could put like 10 Joes on there. And there's a photograph of that. This file card reads as follows. Snowcat driver, codename Frostbite. File name Seward, Farley S. Primary military specialty, motor vehicle driver. Secondary military specialty, armor. Birthplace, Galena, Alaska, grade E4. Frostbite has to be cool. The environment he works is too unforgiving. If his Snowcat throws a piston, then he's got to step out into weather that'll freeze a hex wrench and bare skin in 5 seconds and carry through a repair job that would be taxing under ideal conditions. He can't afford to panic. Not if he wants to stay alive. And here's a closer look at his figure. There's his white teeth that I remember when I was a kid. He's got goggles and some fur. He's got like a cat logo on his arm. .45 on his chest. And a snowsuit, pretty much, with snow boots. And he came with this M16 with like a high-powered scope, which would be a good weapon for Arctic missions. And speaking of weapons that came with figures, the new G.I. Joe Classified series, Snow Job, comes with a sniper rifle, but it looks like a Ruger Precision 3. And as you can see in these photos here, here is the rifle that this classified figure comes with. It looks a lot like a Ruger Precision 3 rifle. And I have one. Here it is here. There's no bullets in it, of course, and the bolt is out of it. It's a bolt action, and it's got the trigger lock, so it's secure. But yeah, I really like this rifle. I can hit targets 200 yards. It's bullseye every time. It's a 6.5 Creedmoor, so it's like a 308. But yeah, interestingly enough, they gave that figure this rifle, I think. It looks a lot like it. And there's Frostbite and the Snowcat in the 85 G.I. Joe catalog. And he first appears in G.I. Joe number 68. So a little bit after his figure came out. Quite a bit after, really. And the first panel that he's in is on this page here. And there he is there. He says, "Move your elbow, Duke. You're taking up too much room." So that's quite an entrance to the G.I. Joe world. By insulting Duke. Maybe not insulting him, but just definitely not being intimidated by Duke. Yeah, this is a really good issue. There's some Hiss tanks there in the snow, and Cobra Wolf and Baroness there. And there's a Snowcat there with Frostbite. Yeah, so another great installment into the G.I. Joe Hammer universe. And before I end this video, I just want to say that today was kind of a special day because Joe Hunter 73, that's Wes, he lives down in Dallas, Texas, and there was a toy show down there today, and he met Larry Hama. Here's a photo of that. And he also met Sergeant Slaughter. So he's just thrilled about that and showed me photos on Instagram and posted them for everybody to see in the Joe community. And everybody is pretty excited about that for him. He was also a really big MASH fan, and Larry Hama was on the show MASH. So Wes was able to get some memorabilia from Larry, and he also talked to Larry a little bit about MASH as well as G.I. Joe. And Wes told me that it felt like he was just hanging out with his dad, because that's the way Larry Hama is. And it's kind of funny because that's the way I always picture Larry Hama, a lot like my dad. So I think that's really, really cool. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Looking forward to doing many, many more. And I've had some health things come up, so I haven't been able to move around very much or get stressed out at all, really. So G.I. Joe, while being at home, has really helped me to stay relaxed and still enjoy things. So I'm just really thankful for the Joe community and all you guys on Instagram and YouTube. Yeah, just want to thank everybody again for watching my channel and subscribing. And okay, we'll see you next time. Take care.